Good morning, dear hearts. We're at lesson 125. In quiet, I receive God's word today. Now, the words throughout this lesson that we need to, I think, pay attention to are listen, quiet, hear, and silence. Okay, this lesson is telling us, which we already know, that God is in constant communication with us. And he says he calls to us from deep within our mind, and that's where he abides. That's where God lives, deep within our mind, because our minds are joined. Okay, but it says, hear him today. And that there's no peace really possible in the world until we hear and we listen, and then we can accept that message, and then we can extend it so that everyone, this will usher in a time of quiet and peace for all of us. It says later in the lesson, it says that, God is aware of our illusions. And that's interesting because there are some people who say that God is not. But this says, he has not waited until you return your mind to him to give his word to you. So to me, that indicates that he knows that our part of our mind believes it's separate from him. And he has not hid himself from you while you have wandered off a little while from him. And he does not cherish the illusions that you hold about yourself because he knows his son. So in order now for us to listen and to hear his word, we have to get ourselves into that space of quiet and silence. And where does that abide? Where does that live? Where do we go for that? That for me is that space in between our thoughts, or the little moment in between each breath where there is this pristine void of pure energy and love. It's pure, it's infinite, and it's there. But we have to quiet to our mind and go into a space of silence so we can enter into that space of pureness. This lesson talks about communicating with us and where is God to us. And this is beautiful because it says he speaks from nearer than your heart to you, and his voice is closer than your hand. And when we meditate, one of the tricks and one that I use is to place your hand upon your heart. So here now we have placed the heart and the hand together. So this could very easily help us to quiet and to go again into that space where God abides. This lesson says, it is your voice. And this is interesting because when we go into that space and we believe we are hearing, or we know we're hearing the voice for God, it's going to be our voice. It's going to sound very familiar. And it's your voice to which you listen that he speaks to you. It is your word he speaks. It is the word of freedom and of peace, of unity of will and purpose, with no separation nor division, in this single mind of Father and Son. In quiet, listen to yourself, and this is, again, capitalized self today, and let him tell you God has never left his Son, and you have never left yourself. Again, this is the rejoining, the awareness that we have never been apart, that we continue to be one with our higher self, however you choose to identify that, and with God. But again, we must go into a space of silence in order to get there. Today's lesson, there are 3 10-minute sessions, morning, afternoon, and before bedtime, and then on the hour to repeat the actual lesson, that in quiet I receive God's word today. And for each hour that passes by, just be still for that moment and to remind yourself, is what it says. The voice we hear will bring us astounding peace as long as we allow it to. And when we realize that it's our voice, that's a win-win. Okay, this lesson also could be seen as a precursor to a lesson we'll come to much later that says the salvation of the world depends on me because I must receive it so that I can give it. I hope this helped. I hope you're having a lovely day. Please share, please subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.